Hey everybody, Matt Johnson here. Mackenzie Shirilla not taking the news well from behind bars that she was denied. She's not getting a new trial.
Well, it was a shock. I mean, clearly she wasn't expecting that because, she thinks she's been brought up to think that she's going to get everything her way.
And her parents not taking the news well either.
I don't know why. I don't know why the trial went the way it did.
Well, I think the mother is seeing it as another opportunity to be on television.
A forensic psychiatrist weighs in, but first, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hype this episode. Now the case of Mackenzie Shirilla. Here to help break it all down, very special guest, we have Dr. Carole Lieberman, forensic psychiatrist, expert witness, keynote speaker, author, and friend of the program. I have been dying to get your reaction to this, the news that the appeal has been rejected. Mackenzie Shirilla is not getting a new trial. How do you think she's handling that behind bars?
Yes, this is the question. It really brings up the whole issue of how suicidal she ever was. Because we know when she was 15, her father called 911 and they came to the house. He said, there was someone who was suicidal. And then when 911 came, then they said, oh no, or she said, oh no, I wasn't going to kill myself. Or her mother said, they all said all of a sudden she was not going to kill herself. Now, I had said in a previous interview with you that she was a borderline. And borderline personality disorder, borderlines do have a tendency to make suicidal gestures. In other words, they want the attention. So they tell people, or they lead people to believe that they're going to commit suicide, and then everybody comes to rescue them, and then they don't. So of course, sometimes they do end up in suicide, either purposely or accidentally. At first I thought when she would hear this news that she was going to be in there a lot longer than I think she thought at the time, that she could maybe commit suicide, that looking ahead to, years of being in that jail or prison that she doesn't really like very much, that could be enough to eventually wear her down. But, according to her mother, they have a whole team working still on getting her out somehow. Habeas corpus, maybe even, she would love to go to the Supreme Court. I don't know if the Supreme Court would take her case. I kind of doubt it, but if the Ohio Supreme Court didn't take it. But as long as there is this shred of hope, and as long as her mother keeps feeding her these, her mother thinks she's going to get out tomorrow, and as long as she keeps feeding this to her, then I think she'll hang in there.
Well, here is what she said on a jail call about being behind bars.
Start the conversation now.
Mom?
Hey. Here's what I'm supposed to say. I know, Kenzie, listen, these phone calls are recorded. We are not allowed to talk about anything.
Well, we need a new lawyer is what we need.
Not a new lawyer. We're going to file an appeal, okay?
No, we need to get another lawyer. Look up.
Yes, that is what it is. Okay? Don't worry about anything. Okay? I can't talk about anything on the phone, Pumpkin. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I can't talk about any. Please don't say anything on the phone. It could ruin the appeal. Okay? I don't know. But we're not done yet, okay? And I can't talk about anything. So just have trust in us, please. Okay? And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
I didn't. I thought it wasn't going to happen.
I guess I shouldn't say I knew it. I had a feeling. I just had a feeling because I just can't say anything on the phone. And we don't even get to talk privately. So we'll just have to talk about it later. Okay? So I'm glad you're on the protective floor.
Why?
Okay?
I just asked to get moved today.
No, I talked to the warden this morning. It's not up to you.
So the mom backpedaling right there. So again, the news is the Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear the appeal. The convictions remain in place. She is serving 15 years to life for the deaths of her boyfriend, Dom Russo, and Davion Flanagan. Her first parole eligibility is 2037. How do you think, again, like, is there anything that you would add about how she's taking it behind bars?
Well, it was a shock. I mean, clearly she wasn't expecting that because, she thinks she's been brought up to think that she's going to get everything her way. But, I'll tell you, I haven't had much sympathy for her. I certainly think she belongs in jail for a significant amount of time. However, I feel a little bit of regret for her. I mean, I don't know, a little sorry for her because she really did have horrible attorneys. I mean, there was so much that they could have done that they didn't do. Starting with having an expert to talk about POTS, to try to use that medical condition as an explanation. Now, of course, the prosecution put forth that couldn't really be a defense because she had her foot on the accelerator, that she had her hands and feet on different things all at the same time. And if she really had fainted, she couldn't have been still doing this at the time of the impact. But I mean, he could have tried better. He could have given aside from POTS, they should have had a psychiatric expert witness. They didn't call me. I don't know if I would have taken it really, but they should have had one because this girl does have a lot of psychiatric problems. Now, a personality disorder alone, whether it's borderline, psychopathic, sociopathic, that really isn't enough to meet the standards of not guilty by reason of insanity, but it could help in a diminished capacity kind of defense. I'm not sure, what Ohio's laws are for that, but it should have made some attempt, that perhaps the drugs, perhaps her boyfriend had driven her crazy, something. The abandonment, of course, another thing, borderline personality people, their main thing is fear of abandonment. And that was what she was showing. She was terrified that her boyfriend was going to abandon her. And that's how she acted. So there could have been some attempt in any case. But, as it is, they really did a horrible job. And then even the appeals, the appeals didn't help with any of this. And this last appeal, the current one, where it was a day late, and they're blaming it on the fact that, it was a leap year, or they should have included the youth trial or whatever. I mean, really, if you're an attorney, you don't wait till the last minute to do this and then try to come up with all these excuses. So I really feel bad for her that she had such bad representation.
Yeah. And, to your point, the appeal included those things. The accusations that she had POTS, but she didn't bring a medical professional to testify about that. Also ineffective counsel with a late filing date, one day after the deadline of 365 days, one day after, and they were saying that it was just because it was a leap year. I mean, come on, everyone has a calendar. But here is what the mom was telling Chris Cuomo in a recent interview about POTS.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why the trial went the way it did. But yes, I mean, I told all of her friends that she has POTS because they need to know what to do if she has an episode. Like, they have to know. She has had a couple episodes and they were very aware of it. And if you don't know what to do when somebody's having an episode from POTS, they can have a seizure.
So again, the family pushing back with this idea that, a lot of people are accusing them of making it up, basically, that it was a defense that they made up and that Mackenzie was spearheading in her communication with her mother. But they didn't put forth that in front of the judge, and they chose the bench trial, which is a whole nother issue.
Another thing, yeah.
So, these parents, are they still delusional with all of this? How are they taking the appeal rejection?
Well, I think the mother is seeing it as another opportunity to be on television. She likes all these drama, things that happen in the case. Oh, maybe somebody's going to call, and Cuomo is certainly always there. So I'm not to say that they're not disappointed. Of course they want her to get out. But remember, we talked about how, and it bears repeating, her parents were both enablers. Her father enabled her to take drugs. Everybody takes pot. There's nothing wrong with taking pot. And her mother was an enabler in terms of making her more narcissistic, more vain, more, wanting to be on social media all the time, to get her face and to get manufacturers, companies to pay to use her. So they both, they're reaping what they sowed. And yet what's really kind of upsetting about that, so many things, but one of the things is that they're not recognizing, they're not acknowledging that they perhaps weren't the parents of the year.
Let me play some clips. This is again from the recent Cuomo interview of Natalie Shirilla, and then also a recent interview that the mom and dad did, but the dad is speaking with a local news station. I'm going to play those back to back and get your reaction.
My husband and I, we weren't in there. I was a witness and he was a potential witness. So we were not allowed in there to hear what he was saying or not saying or doing or not doing or presenting. So she only had one day for her defense, and then it was over. And then the things I found out after the trial, I don't know what happened. Something's wrong. Something's wrong somewhere. I don't know. I don't understand a lot.
What is the plan going forward?
I'm finding that this appellate process is being stuck in quicksand. During this process, I've talked to many different appellate attorneys, and they've all said, we've lost our way. Our country's lost our way. Our appellate process has gone from really caring about what's right and more about procedural errors. So I have no choice but to be guided by hope that that somebody somewhere will be able to look at this critically and see in black and white that there was no proof of intent.
How can I feel bad that these two boys died and feel grief with these families and then be absolutely overjoyed that my kid is alive?
Insisting that the justice system got it wrong.
Show me one piece of evidence, one, that says she did this on purpose. Show it to me. Here it is. That's it. Then she's right where she belongs and she's guilty of it. But there isn't any.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents really don't believe that there is any evidence showing that she intentionally caused these murders. And, they're conveying that to their daughter, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of their MO throughout her life, to protect her, to tell everybody she's right, she's a little darling. Don't worry, everybody else is wrong. There was evidence, there was evidence that she took a practice trip, went to that same place that she was practicing to see exactly where she had to be in the road to make it so that they got killed and she was less injured. Let's put it that way. And also the texts and the situation where not long before she had threatened her boyfriend that she was going to, have an accident and kill him. And he called his mother and she sent somebody there. I mean, there are enough things. The fact that she was going 100 miles per hour. I mean, enough. There really is enough to show intent. And so, again, they're in denial.
And, she might be in denial because of that. And I'm going to ask you the question, would she testify if given the chance for a new trial, which is kind of out of the question at this point. But let me play a clip from the Netflix documentary, The Crash, and then also what her mother said about what she did or did not see during the course of her bench trial.
What do you think happened to cause the crash?
Through all the evidence that has been presented, the most logical speculation seems to be a medical emergency.
She's never seen the evidence. She's never seen the discovery. She's never seen anything. So she's almost trapped in a nightmare that she has. All she knows is that the boyfriend that she loved with her whole heart is gone, and Davion is gone, and she was the driver in a car accident and has no memory of it. So it's literally, I'm going to cry again. You should see her artwork. It's so sad. And one of these days I'll share it, but I'm not going to share it now.
Before we get into the artwork, so she's claiming that she doesn't see the evidence. She's claiming that she doesn't remember that it was a medical condition, again, in this documentary, because she didn't testify the first time around. So if she was granted the retrial like she was hoping, would she have taken the stand?
I think she might have taken the stand in a retrial because, maybe she thinks it went bad the first time. So perhaps, and plus, I think she wants her opportunity to tell people her side. The mother said that if she wanted to, if Mackenzie wanted to, she could have said that she could have blamed it on one of the other two people in the car. And instead she said she had no memory of it. Now, and so the mother is taking it as like a positive thing. Look, she had this opportunity to make up a story and say that it was their fault, and she didn't do that. But, I don't think she would have been able to prove that it was their fault. I don't know. Maybe some attorney would think that that was a good thing to do, but I don't think she gets credit for not lying.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it would have been very interesting to see whether or not she would have spun some sort of story like that if given the opportunity with a retrial, if she decided to testify. She didn't in trial number one. And again, here we are looking at a parole date in 2037. So let me finish that clip, though, because I thought it was really interesting what she was saying, describing her daughter's art. And I just wanted your reaction on that.
She does self-portraits of herself where she has like a thorn, like a rose of thorns around her neck, or like her mouth is sewn shut and she's got all these question marks around her head, like why? And like, where's Dom? Like, what happened? And Davion, it's like so sad. She's literally trapped in this nightmare. And so she struggles mentally with that part. And I feel bad.
Why would she be making artwork like that as a professional? Like what does that show you?
Well, the thorns around her neck and her, does feel like it's like she's strangling in prison, and with the decisions, the court's decisions against her. But it's interesting that her mouth is sewn shut because, what that means is that she really has something to say that she thinks she needs to hold in.
Yeah, and she had an opportunity yet again recently, as we know, and that's the reason why it's all in the headlines, when she was in the Netflix documentary.
Told my side of the story, and I understand there's many different sides to the story and different perspectives, but I just want to say my truth, and I just know myself, and I know I'm not a monster.
She's not a monster, but she doesn't feel like she should have been imprisoned to begin with.
Right. Yes. You can kind of interpret it different ways, and she would interpret it the way that would, help her the most. Another way to interpret this is that she's strangled, that her mouth is being held shut, and that she really does have a lot to say, which could free her. But I really think the first thing that I said about that, she's keeping herself quiet. She's not telling the whole truth about everything.
Mackenzie, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. It's up to you. Okay? You can sit if it's more comfortable, whatever's better for you.
The families of Dom and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends, and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys give. Thank you for fighting with me. I love you all so much. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. That won't be up to me. That will be up to the parole board, and that will be up to you to a great extent. I understand that the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence. But I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence, because I do believe that Mackenzie will not be out in 15 years. So she's sentenced on count 2, the murder of Davion Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other with credit for time served.
So that begs the question, when we approach 2037, because again, she's serving 15 years to life with the first opportunity for parole, if, she meets all the requirements to even make it there. So will this documentary and will some of those jail calls come back to hurt her in a negative way? I want to play another jail call. And this is when she's talking about the fact that she doesn't need jail, she doesn't need prison, and she doesn't need reform.
I don't want to enjoy life there, but it's just sad. I don't know.
No, that's a rehabilitative. See, that's how jail is supposed to rehabilitate people.
But I don't need to be rehabilitated. I don't need that.
You. I know you don't.
I want to live off the grid. And I'm just thinking about how I'm just gonna be old when I get out of jail, and I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to have kids or a family and
what? You said that.
I'm just scared they're gonna be you have the death penalty or you're going to life for 40 years.
I know. Well, let us fight. Let us do what we're doing, okay? Just living right now.
Okay, so again, her parents just kind of saying that we'll take care of it for you. But again, back to my question to you, will she get parole? And will the reason she doesn't get parole is because of the documentary and because her comments on these phone calls?
Well, certainly they will work against her. I think a lot of it depends upon how she acts in prison, because some people might have some sympathy for her, although it really isn't a very long, she wouldn't have served a long jail time before the first opportunity for parole. But, there could be some sympathetic people on the jail board. But she needs to change how she is. I know she got a job in prison, and that was good. That's a good start. And then also the mother was asked about all these different tickets that she got, for bad behavior and for having other people's things. And the mother made excuses for that.
I was probably a week or 2 shy of my out date when me and Mackenzie really started talking. I didn't walk up to her because the way she upheld herself and stuff is kind of like a mean girl aura, like full Regina George radiating off her. Told me she woke up at 5 a.m. every morning just to do her makeup, her hair, and look good.
But if she's going to continue with that, it was interesting also, the mother refuses to talk about the things that have come out about her sexual behavior in prison, and how you get tickets, for being inappropriate sexually. She's going to have to change her ways a lot, in a lot of different ways, to not stop getting tickets and to convince she says she doesn't need rehabilitation. So, I don't know that that's going to look very good when they're considering parole, so I guess she wasn't rehabilitated then.
What are you watching for in this case?
Her parents are very interesting to watch, but it's so sad because they're all just so out of it. They're all so out of touch with reality. It's interesting, but it's just really sad. And I really was offended by the father saying that, how could he feel sad for the families of the 2 boys that she killed? How can you not feel sad for them?
Yeah, they are the victims in all of this, and we have to remember that. Dom Russo, Davion Flanagan. Dr. Carole Lieberman, thank you so much for your time. How can we get a hold of you?
Well, one place would be one of my websites, expertwitnesspsychiatrist.com.
And I have all of the information in my show notes below. Thank you so much. I hope to see you back here soon.
Thank you.
For more analysis on this case, please check out the video section of this YouTube channel. There, I have a playlist that includes my conversation with a crash reconstructionist, a body language expert, also a former prison inmate of Mackenzie Shirilla, and Dom Russo's sister, who is fighting to change the law there in Ohio to keep offenders from profiting from their crimes. Also, be sure to hit the like and subscribe because I'm going to keep you posted on this case and others that we're following. Until then, take care of yourself. I'll see you next time.